Hi guys, so I'm back. I survived my little mini apocalypse, and I'm on to make more videos for you guys. Aren't you happy I made it? So anyways, one of the things that I wanted to go over today was something that I think a lot of people overlook when talking about preparedness, prepping, just being prepared in general. Apocalypses, shit hit the fan, zombies, whatever. And that is security. You can't, it doesn't matter how much food you have, how self-sufficient you are, if someone can just walk in and take that from you, then you're in a bad spot. And it doesn't matter what your scenario is for preparedness, the likelihood that crime and stuff like that is going to get worse as time goes on is pretty much guaranteed. I mean, especially considering the economic problems we're facing. We're already seeing stuff like that go up. AC units being stolen for copper, home invasions, and that's going to get more and more prevalent. And all you have to do is look to countries that have been in this spot before and see that that's happened. Fernando of Surviving in Argentina, known as Fairfowl, who wrote the book Surviving Economic Collapse, that's one of the big things that he's always harping on is security, because it makes a big deal. I mean, it makes a big difference. That's the thing that you're gonna have to face at some point. The odds that at some point during your life you're gonna have to deal with some sort of like crime or burglary or something like that is extremely high. Much higher than the fact that you would have to deal with terrorism or anything like that. And a lot of people worry about that and don't worry about the security of their own home, which is stupid to me. So I wanted to show you a few things that I'm doing. Haven't done them all yet, but I'm working on it with this house I have, and stuff that you can do too to make your house more secure. But the first thing I'm going to go over is just your front door. Now this I just replaced. I'm still in the process. I haven't actually finished it yet. This is called an ultimate lock. It's just an extreme deadbolt, basically, that fixes some of the things that are wrong with ordinary deadbolts. And I'm going to go over it real quick. One of the things that it has is a dual bolt system. One goes in the normal deadbolt, and one comes outside it. And it has a custom plate, you'll see here, that actually takes both of those, the normal deadbolt and the pin there. And the screws go in at a 30-degree angle that way, so that it's additional protection. They're not just straight in. They're much longer than the normal screws. They're like 5-inch screws, so they go deep into the king studs on either side. Much more protected. Because what a lot of people don't understand, I should have probably mentioned this first, is it doesn't matter what your door is made out of, it doesn't matter what your lock is made out of, it doesn't matter if this thing is adamantium, can't be sawed through, can't be shot through. That's not what's keeping your door from opening. The only thing that's keeping your door from opening is right here. About 1/2 inch of soft, crappy wood, and a trim on the outside of it. Because you can think that bolt goes right in there. That bolt isn't stopping the door from opening. This is right here. That's it. So that's why once you look into it, I mean, really, deadbolts are there for nothing but peace of mind. They don't provide any additional protection. One kick usually from an adult just blasts right through that, and you can see demonstrations of this. So that's a big deal. That's what this, with the extra long screws, help prevent. And in addition to that, I got this, which is called Easy Armor or Door Jam Armor. It's an extremely long metal plate, so that instead of just a tiny little metal plate here or here, this covers the basically almost half the length of the door. So that once it's installed, not only would it have to rip through the wood, it would have to rip through some plate steel here and break out all the screws that run up and down the length of this thing. So it would make it much more difficult. You couldn't just kick it open, that's for sure. And I mean, that's basically what it's about, is that you're never going to stop someone from getting in if they really, really want to, but you just want to buy yourself some time. Because as long as my goal with all this is to give myself about 3 minutes. Because as long as I know someone's trying to get in, if I have 3 minutes, I'm going to look like this. So yeah, all I need is about 3 to 5 minutes, and anyone who busts through that door is going to be in a world of hurt, that's for sure. Alright, so anyways, back to the ultimate lock. It's kind of expensive. It's about 180 bucks, which is kind of a kick in the pants compared to a normal deadbolt, but you get what you pay for. A normal deadbolt might as well, like I said, it's not going to do anything for you. All it does is make it look like something. So in addition to the extra strike plate there, the long screws, the construction of the lock itself, the double deadbolt system. It actually is impossible to be picked for a simple reason. This right here functions pretty much like a normal, you know, pin and tumbler lock. But this here, let me take off, there's a rubber thing to make sure that this doesn't accidentally become engaged. Once you engage the lock, you can push that in. So that now there's actually a pin, a physical barrier, preventing the deadbolt from sliding back in. So even if someone is a master lockpick or they're using bump keys or whatever, it's physically prevented from opening. It doesn't matter what they do. They could drill it out even. It wouldn't matter because this pin is here. It physically can't open. And they have a little rubber piece here that you can put on there to prevent it from going in. When you leave and lock it from the outside, you don't want that thing to accidentally get bumped in by your dog or pawing at it or something, because then you couldn't get in. So the little rubber piece is important. From the outside, I like that this looks like an ordinary deadbolt because you don't want to advertise that you have super security. I mean, there's two rules of thought on that. There's one type of security, you could argue that you want to show people that it's tough, you know, but you also don't want people to know what they're dealing with, because if you're wearing if a bulletproof vest on, people aren't going to try and shoot you with armor-piercing rounds because, you know, they don't know you're wearing it. They may just try to shoot you with regular bullets. So if you have a shirt that says, can only be killed with armor-piercing rounds, then they're only going to shoot you with the armor-piercing rounds, so it doesn't matter. So why advertise exactly what level of security you have? I think the stuff that you want people to see would be like lights, you know, the fact that you have a dog or not, the fact that someone's home or not, but you don't want them to know exactly what type of hardware they're dealing with, because then they can find ways to beat it. Maybe they'll try to do something else instead. Maybe they'll try to go into a window where before they would have just kicked your door, which that's good. You want them to know when they're trying to do it. I'd rather them kick it and we know about it than them see a special lock being there and try to do something else instead. So that's the steps that I'm going to go through. I'm going to run down all the plans I have. The first one is door security. Got ultimate lock, got the easy armor, which in addition to the strike plate on the frame side, it has a metal plate to cover the normal lock here, so that can't just rip or pull out. And it has another one that would have worked here, except for this is not normal, which is fine. It's stronger anyways. And then it also has a hinge plate to cover your hinges, and that has extra long screws as well, because that's another weak point, the hinges, the little tiny little screws. So basically, we'll make this door impervious. Other than that, I'm going to replace this screen door with a metal or wrought iron security door, because this serves no purpose whatsoever. Besides being a piece of shit that's falling apart, it's pointless. So once you have the security door, I'll open my super ultimate lock, and then when I get to this stage, this would be a metal door, so I could talk to someone on the other side, and then if for some reason they tried to bust in, they wouldn't be able to do it, or I would at least have a second to slam this door shut, bam, hit it with my super lock, put my other stuff in place. So I'll have a metal security door, easy armor, ultimate lock, and then I also, what I'm planning on getting is, in addition to the lock system, physical barricades that will keep the door from opening. And there's two different kinds I was looking at. One's called a barricade, to play on words, and it is basically, I'm using this as an example, it's a bar that goes across the door here. It's a steel bar, and it screws into the king studs on either side, and then it fits in place. So even if the lock and the easy armor somehow failed, it would smash into this and it would prevent the door from opening. Another one is called On Guard, which serves the same purpose but a different function, and I really like it because it seems like it's low profile. It has a plate that screws into the ground, and then you have another metal plate that sticks into that and sticks up a couple inches here that prevents the door from opening, even if the lock had completely failed, even if the door had completely failed, then that would still be there. I'm honestly thinking about getting both of them, because this will prevent the door from opening, and the one up here will even prevent the door from falling inward if the hinges have failed. So even if there's nothing holding the door there, basically it would give a little more time. I mean, they could always pull it outward, I guess, but like I said, you're not really preventing them from getting in. That's not my plan. My plan is to give myself a few minutes to be able to unleash a world of hurt on them. So that's what I'm going to do to all the doors in my house. And then also my plan is to put steel window bars on the outside of my windows. Decorative. They'll look decorative from the outside, but I mean, there's really no point to making your doors invincible when you have a window that my van could drive through. So that I got to take care of too. That's probably going to be a little bit expensive. But luckily I do have concrete block walls, so that once those are anchored in, the windows will be basically impossible to get through, short of ripping them out with a truck or hammering away at it with a jackhammer. And like I said, as long as I get a few minutes notice, that's all I need to at least make them wish they hadn't done it. It's starting to rain here, but I'll give you a little bit more. And then on the front of the house here, under the windows, I'm going to put some blackberry bushes all along here. Not only will that'll serve two purposes. First of all, it will give me fresh blackberries because they grow indigenously around here anyway, so they'll grow well. I won't have to water them. They can take the sandy soil and the heat. But it'll also give a thorny mess that anyone even trying to get close to the windows, even though they'll have the bars on them, getting close to the windows will be very painful. And I'm going to do that under all the windows in the house. Other than that, my plan is to get some video cameras so that if anything does happen, you know, and this is not only for people who don't like to talk about this stuff, but this isn't just for criminals. This is also for law enforcement that may be trying to do something unconstitutional or incorrect. I've read plenty of stories of them just making mistakes, going to the wrong house, serving warrants on the wrong house, illegal entries based on, you know, whatever, and they'll just barge in. So you want to have cameras for something like that, because if they do something illegal and maybe you have to defend yourself against a police officer, then if that isn't actually recorded exactly what happened, you're going to have a hell of a time not getting charged with something criminal and not getting in a lot of trouble. So I really want to get cameras set up in here. And my plan is to have some that are obvious and at least one that's hidden, so that if they do find out about the obvious ones and try to dispose of that evidence, you'll have at least one more thing that'll help you prove your case. Or in the event of a robbery, you know, if you are gone on vacation and they manage to blow through all this stuff, your window bars, and finally get in your house and rob you, you know, then at least you'll have some video surveillance of the people who did it. Another thing that's important is to have a dog. My girlfriend has a wussy little mutt, but he does at least bark when someone walks up to the front door. So like I said, please give me some warning. And no matter how small a dog is, history has shown, and criminals have actually said, that there's nothing better to prevent them from even trying to get in your house than knowing that you have a dog or more multiple dogs in there. It's just people are scared of animals. They know that even if they could kill the animal, they're going to be fighting with it. They're going to get bit. They're going to have to be attacked. It's going to be loud. It's an excellent deterrent, and let you sleep better at night because they can hear things that you can't hear. They can smell things. Before someone starts pounding on the door, they'll probably start barking just when they're walking up to it. So that is very useful, even though I don't really like that dog too much. He is useful in that regard. So that's pretty much it. You want to have physical security. You want to have passive stuff like the cameras, and you can get as crazy as you want with it. I've seen little trip wires that automatically set off tear gas or pepper spray. That's pretty awesome. You can have safes and stuff like that to guard your stuff, but my main goal is to make it difficult to even get in the house in the first place, because that's where I'm going to be sleeping, and I don't feel like losing my anal virginity to some rapist. God damn, we're losing power on here all the time. Thought my apocalypse was over. I may have to bust out the lantern again. But anyways, at least my stuff's all set up now if you've seen that previous video. But yeah, so that's my plan. Window bars, blackberries under the windows, video cameras, exterior lights, motion sensor lights, which are important. For the doors, easy armor, ultimate lock, and a physical barricade to the door to prevent it from opening. And that should give me, I can't imagine someone would be able to get in through that in less than 3 or 4 minutes. So as long as I have 3 to 5 minutes, I will be ready to make them perforated, or however you want to say it. Ready to poke some holes in them at 1,000 feet per second. So this thing has turned out pretty well. I haven't exactly finished it, but just thought you guys should know. So anyways, let me know what you guys are doing for physical security for your house, homestead, bug out cabin, whatever. I mean, there's some crazy stuff. If you want to look into security, look into like what the South Africans and stuff like that have to do. I've heard that they actually have, not only do they make the window bars, make the doors, they will actually have another cage in their hallway called like a rape cage, just so if they're in the house and someone manages to break through, they can have a secondary line of defense. That's how bad crime is over there. And I'm also going to put fence toppers on the top of my fence in the back that will make it painful to climb over. People can't just put their hand on it, it'll stab them. And interestingly enough, almost all the companies that make those are South African or, you know, European. That is just, people don't worry about security over here. It's ridiculous, and it's going to start becoming a problem. Like I was saying, even recently now, in the news you start seeing people robbing air conditioning units, you know, breaking in, stealing copper pipes and everything. And so even if they're not trying to hurt you, you don't want to have to buy a new AC unit. You don't even want to have to worry about that. So let me know what you guys are doing, what your plan is for physical security, and I'll talk to you later. Rate, comment, subscribe. Peace.